Thank you to Joe and Mary Lewis for sharing their very personal story with us. It's unfortunate, but their story is all too common here in Cuyahoga County, the tragic result of foreclosure. But here are the questions that need to be answered. Why here and why now? When we come back, why Cuyahoga County is ground zero in the mortgage meltdown in America. But first, a don't borrow trouble tip if you fear foreclosure. We'll be right back. Rust Belt cities like Cleveland, Ohio, have been hit particularly hard by the foreclosure crisis. But who's to blame? And how did it happen? Well, it's almost like a perfect storm. A stagnating economy and a weak housing market. Couple that together with an increase in predatory lending, relaxed federal mortgage lending practices, and a desperate homeowner, uninformed and willing to sign on the bottom line. Add it all together, and you have a recipe for foreclosure disaster.
Any number of events can lead a homeowner down a pathway toward foreclosure. The loss of a stable job, an unexpected illness, even retirement can begin a snowball effect. But here in Cuyahoga County, above all, the chief culprit has been predatory lending practices fueled by Wall Street.
Nobody, no community, no family is untouched in some respect from the problem that's been posed by predatory lending and the foreclosures, that rampant foreclosures that have resulted.
Subprime loans, largely unregulated by the federal government, are the life's blood of predatory lenders.
The subprime market, or a subprime loan, is for people who have less than perfect credit.
Mark Weisman heads up Don't Borrow Trouble, Cuyahoga County's foreclosure prevention program.
They have new exotic types of products. The most popular by far in the subprime mortgage market is called an ARM loan, or an adjustable rate mortgage loan. Now, these are very attractive because the lender knows that since the interest rate is going to bump up in later years, starting with the beginning of the third year, that the borrower is going to be able to be put into a loan with a much lower rate than they otherwise could qualify for to start.
These shady loans not only hurt the homeowner, they put mortgage companies out of business. More than 100 of them who offer a high volume of subprime mortgage loans have either stopped that type of lending or gone out of business. Dave Cody of Island Financial.
We'd like to see some government interaction in this situation. The lenders are learning their lesson now. The lenders in Wall Street, they're learning their lessons, and now if we're going to help the consumer, people that own the homes, we need some easing of credit and expansion of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
It's all about the money. Financial incentives for loan officers to steer borrowers into high-cost loans are commonplace in the industry. The more subprime loans, the higher a broker's earnings. High volume was king. Practical underwriting standards took a back seat. Meanwhile, conditions on Wall Street unlocked the floodgates, creating large blocks of loans for sale to the highest bidder.
About 10 years ago, Congress altered the laws for what you could do with a mortgage once you sold it. And they decided that you could pull together tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of mortgages into one pool and make it a securitized trust and sell it like a stock on Wall Street.
Meanwhile, lawmakers at the federal and state level are debating the need to reform the risky lending practices that have seen mortgage defaults reach an all-time record over the past year.
We have to speak out for sanity. In lending practices, we have to create partnerships with banks that care, and we have to find a way, I think at the federal level, to make sure that these non-regulated banks, I'm not going to say they do it, but like AmeriQuest, like Countrywide, like Argent, like Aquan, they have to be regulated as well.
Still ahead on Don't Borrow Trouble, we follow County Treasurer Jim Rokakis to Washington, D.C. as the County Treasurer testifies before a House subcommittee examining the foreclosure crisis. But first, in our next segment, a comprehensive look at Don't Borrow Trouble, the county's very successful foreclosure prevention program. Here's another Don't Borrow Trouble tip. We'll be right back. The foreclosure numbers in Cuyahoga County are bleak by any measure, but there is a ray of light. And that ray of light is our Cuyahoga County Commissioners and county government that realized strong, unified action was needed now. And the Don't Borrow Trouble Foreclosure Prevention Program was born. Here's more good news. Last year, this program helped save more than 600 homes. 600 foreclosures were prevented from happening. That's good news. Here's more good news from correspondent Richard Stewart.
The groundbreaking Don't Borrow Trouble program emerged from a partnership among the Cuyahoga County Commissioners, local nonprofit organizations, a variety of community stakeholders, and local elected officials. Notable among that group is Cuyahoga County Treasurer Jim Rokakis. He believes that improving the overall efficiency of the foreclosure process is one big step in the right direction.
It was taking 2.5, and 3 years for some of these private mortgage foreclosures to come through the system. Well, that translates into a lot of vacant properties, a lot of additional costs for cities, and as we've come to know from all the various studies that have been done, decreased property values and decreased confidence in communities.
The huge rise in foreclosures has overwhelmed Cuyahoga County's ability to effectively manage cases. In response, the county approved a surcharge on the foreclosure filing fee. Money raised funded additional county services to handle the enormous workflow.
Staffing was increased, more magistrates. The coordination between the sheriff, the clerk, and the courts was improved through this communication. The prosecutor's office was an important catalyst in this. And in the last several months, the timing, the efficiency of the foreclosure process has been improved.
Another goal of the foreclosure prevention program is to cut down foreclosures and risky mortgage lending through outreach education, counseling, legal assistance, and advocacy. This is the backbone of the Don't Borrow Trouble program. United Way's 211 First Call for Helpline
211 First Call for Help
is a vital part of Don't Borrow Trouble, linking those in need of help to a variety of qualified agencies.
If you've missed the first payment or you're about to miss a payment, you know it, you need to call 211, which is the county helpline. And then you'll be referred to one of the counseling agencies. And the reason you need to do it sooner as opposed to later is a lot of these loans are set up in such a way that if you're late, there's automatic fees added. As soon as a lawyer enters the picture, there's another fee that's added, and you have to pay that bill.
Any borrower who lives in Cuyahoga County and wants to work out a payment plan to stay in their home and maintain their existing loan is eligible for counseling and advice through the Foreclosure Prevention Program. Highly trained referral specialists on duty 24 hours a day answer callers' questions and refer them to one of 9 local nonprofit agencies who can help. Best of all, it's free.
Education is prevention. If people are educated prior to getting involved in a transaction or a contract or a mortgage agreement, and they understand better what to look out for, what to be suspicious about, it will help them in the long run prevent a foreclosure from occurring or them running into financial problems.
Nonprofits and public action agencies are in the trenches in the fight to turn around the foreclosure trend. Each partner with Cuyahoga County government and provide valuable education and outreach services geared toward either preventing a catastrophe or navigating the road back from the brink of foreclosure. Jay Seaton heads the local consumer credit counseling agency.
What we do at Consumer Credit Counseling Services is work together to understand people's expenses, work them up a budget, and work them up an action plan. If they need a debt repayment plan for reduced payments to the creditors, we can provide that also. But everybody walks out of here after a meeting with a certified counselor with an action plan and a budget and 2 or 3 ways in which they can improve themselves.